Hello dear students, let's start today's next lecture, number 14. The theme of our today's lecture is community ecology, structure of biocenoses, biotic connection of and the interspecific population interaction. So the plan of today's lecture is what is a community ecology, structure of biocenosis, what we give definition by the biocenosis, and the connection to the population. The purpose of the lecture is to form of students knowledge about ecological structure of population and the term knowledge about the term biocenosis. So, what is a biocenosis? Biocenosis is a word from Greek. Bios is a life, cenos is a general. So, biocenosis, they are grouping of cohabiting and interconnected organisms, sometimes for one purpose or another. Artificial grouping of organisms are isolated from biocenosis to the zoocenosis. Zoocenosis, they are all animals of a given community. Parasitocenosis, they are all parasites. Entomocenosis, they are insects. And the ornithocenosis, they are all birds of given community, and etc. So, biocenosis, they are the group of organisms which live in the same area, same land, and they interacted between them. So, this group we call it biocenosis. The taxonomic structure of the biocenosis implies, first of all, the specific composition of living organisms and their quantitative participation in the community. Species diversity largely depends on the age of biocenosis. The oldest ecosystem of Earth are rainforests and the coral reefs. Agrobiocenosis are the poorest in the animal species. For example, agrobiocenosis, they are the last type of biocenosis which introduced by the human activity. Based on the on the taxonomic structure of the natural biocenosis, some conclusions can be drawn about the conditions of existence of living organisms, based on the rule of the ratio of number of species and the number of individuals. In this graphic, you can see the how the number of species is influenced to the number of individuals. In favorite conditions, the number of species is high in this picture, but each of them is represented by a relatively small number of individuals. So, in unfavorable condition, this ratio reverses. The graphical representation of this ratio is called the Rancure curve. In this picture, you can see the Rancure curve of the population individuals. So, these are the definitions of the structure of biocenosis. First is the spatial structuring. Spatial structuring is a vertical structuring. They are the tiering of vegetation cover and the placement of animals, vertical zonality of water spaces, and the productivity of the soil. The next structure is a horizontal structure. Horizontal structure is horizontal separation of organisms in their groupings. Altitude zone differentiations in mountains, differentiations of littoral and coastal zones in water bodies, uneven distribution of hammock inhabitants in marshlands. Next structure is the temporal. Temporal, they are night and day activity partners. Example, swallows feed during the day, night jars at dusk past a night. Next is the structure of food networks. Food networks is a trophic relationships and energy flow in the ecosystem. It's a very important structure in the biocenosis because all of organisms such as animals, protozoas, microorganisms, or animals, they are influenced by this structure, by food network. So if the one of type population is this, its influence to the other types of population. So food networks is one of the more important factors in the biocenosis. Reproductive associations is the next. They are clones of asexually reproducing animals in the parental couples and the family groups. Next is the social structure. Social structure, colonies, flocks, herds, and other association of individuals. And the last structure is a biotic connection between populations. They are the interaction systems regulating population dynamics and the ecological balance. So biotic connection is it means that connection between animals and plants, animals with animals, or animals with microorganisms. So is biotic connections in the biocenosis. So they are the structure of the biocenosis, and they are very important for the growing and the population individuals number. So dear students, in this lecture we studied about what is a biocenosis, the definition of the biocenosis, the types of biocenosis, and what factors and the structures have these groups in animals and the plants. So I think it's enough for today. Thank you. Goodbye.